ॐ सहना भवतु सहनौ भुनक्तु सह वीर्यङ्करवावहै तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहै ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः सदाशिवसमारम्भां शङ्कराचार्यमध्यमाम् अस्मदाचार्यपर्यन्तां वन्दे गुरुपरम्परां दयाकरं दयाकारं दान्तं धर्मप्रवर्तकं प्रणमामि दयानन्दं मदाचार्यपरम्परम् ॐ नमो भगवते वैवस्वताय मृत्यवे ब्रह्मविद्याचार्याय नचिकेतसे च। First of the two verses we are in the middle of, and these verses, what do? They talk about the astitvam of Brahma Vastu, that this Brahman is cognized as existent only. And some powerful arguments were given when in our last life. Therefore, we will revise those arguments just briefly, so we know if anybody we encounter and they say, what is the proof for your Brahman to exist? Then we can counter with any one of them is enough, but all 3-4 of them are given. Depending on how you count, you can say 3A, 3B, or you can say 3 and 4. We will be seeing that, and before we go further, we will be summarizing the arguments for Brahma Astitvam. On what basis can you say Brahma Asti? Yes, we need Shraddha to say that, but the Shruti Sammata Yukti. Yukti means a certain kind of a logical thinking is called Yukti. So logical thinking cannot just take a plane and go wherever it wants. The logical thinking has to be tethered to the Shruti so that we understand what the Shruti is saying and we assimilate that in keeping with the way the Shruti is going. So the logic should be unfolding the Shruti more for me, and by exemplifying what it says rather than making it go in a different direction. So Adi Shankara in his very beautiful Bhashya there says the following. So first it is, first let us chant this verse. Naiva vacha na manasa praptum shakyo na chakshusha asti iti bruvatoonyatra katham tadupalabhyate. So that which is not, first line says what? That which is not available for the mind or the words or any sense organs or logic or anumana or any pramana that I operate, that which is not available for this, then how is it available for the person who does not say Brahma Asti? So for the person who does not say Brahma Asti, how can it be available when it's not available for the mind, when it's not available for the words or for anumana, any pramana that the person operates? How will that person understand if the person doesn't have astikya buddhi? This is where Shraddha comes in, because I am dependent upon the pramana, I am dependent upon the Guru to operate the pramana. That feeling must be there. And it's not a codependence. It's not like, okay, Guru will operate the pramana and then I have to make sure the Guru is all right. No, not like that. This is a knowledge that is given without any expectations, including the expectation that the person will get enlightened. That expectation also is not there here. And why is that expectation not there? Because there is no manipulation. There is no trying to convert anybody. How to convert somebody into what you already are? How to convert? Are you Brahman or not? Yes. So how to convert Brahman into Brahman? This is the teacher's difficulty. So there is nothing to convert. There is no manipulation. It is freely given, even without the expectation that somebody will get this knowledge. So therefore, the person coming into this knowledge must have a jignasa. Jignasa means the desire to know, on the basis that there is something there that I need to understand. And that something, not understanding which, I am grieving, I am subject to grief. And that knowing that something, it will go. Why? Because all the Shastras say this. That kind of a little bit of a Shraddha goes a long way. And even if the student comes with a flickering mumukshutvam, mostly off and little bit on, it's like a birthday candle. You know those, what is magic trick candles. And then you are all laughing, everybody is laughing inside. The poor birthday person doesn't know. Here, cake, put it off. In our tradition, we don't put anything off. Okay, yeah. That is itself, any light that is burning, we don't put off. That is seen as inauspicious. Yeah, we get put off if the light is put off. But in the West, it's a big celebration. You have to do around the cake. Yeah. And then the understanding is what? The feeling. If you are able to snuff out all the candles at once with your breath, you have to make a wish first, that your wish will come true. And now all the friends are snickering because they have a magic idea here. So the person puts off all the candles, and then after that they all, without being lit, they come back. Without being lit, they come back. And again, they do, again they come back. And after a while, everybody gets tired because they want to eat the cake. So then, then they turn the candle upside down and permanently snuff it out, and then enjoy the cake and the birthday celebrations. So why did I bring up this trick candle? Only to show that the mumukshutvam is like the trick candle. So one day up, one day down, one day up, one day down, flicker, 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 off. But even if that kind of a mumukshutvam is there, even if that kind of a little tiny bit of Shraddha, mostly off, little bit on is there, in the fire of knowledge, it will burn brightly. We must not be afraid to expose even that tiny mumukshutvam that we bring to the teacher, to the ashram situation, and we allow it to grow into a conflagration rather than feel bad that I have only 1% Shraddha. How will I make it? Don't worry, because you don't have to gain this knowledge. It helps you. It takes over. You don't have to do anything. What you have to do is show up at 6:30 in the morning. That's all you have to do. Rest takes care of itself. You don't have to do anything, nothing you do. Let the knowledge take you. That is the idea. And so asti iti bruvatah anyatra, other than the one who says asti, katham tarhi, how on earth upalabhyate. So basically what you bring to the knowledge is a flickering mumukshutvam, a baby Shraddha, a trick candle Shraddha that is mostly off, sometimes on. And so he gives some very powerful arguments for Brahma Astitvam. So what does he say? First argument. First argument is what? So sarva vishesha rahitah api jagatah moolam iti avagatatvat asti eva. So first argument is, what is Brahman? Free of attributes, yes or no? Say yes. Okay, good. Yeah. Free of all attributes, this Brahman is, because we have seen in the first mantra of this very section, What have we seen? We have seen that it is the Moola of the whole Jagat, into which everything collapses, into which everything viliyate, resolves. So if this much we know and have Shraddha because we know this, first argument is Shruti based, that Jagataha Moolam Asti. Why Brahma Asti? And Brahman is presented as the truth of the Jagat. So the Moola, the basis of the Jagat, the root of the Jagat, the truth of the Jagat is Brahman alone. So for the one who knows this, then we use the logic. And what is the logic? The subsequent logic is, when all these, which is this Jagat, which is nothing other than a series of cause-effect chain. What is this? Shirt. Shirt is what? Fabric. What is fabric? Yarn. What is yarn? Molecules. And what is molecules? Cotton molecules. And then what is cotton? Cotton tree, cotton pod, cotton bush. What is the cause of cotton bush? Cotton seed, like this, where all the series of chains of cause and then effect, and then the cause itself becomes an effect from a different standpoint. This cause effect, cause effect, cause effect, cause effect, cause effect. Where does it go? It all praviliyate, it all resolves, and you cannot say the cause effect chain has disappeared. If the Shastra says the cause effect chain has resolved, the question is, where has it resolved? It has to be resolved in something existent or non-existent? Existent. So if I say, for example, the ice cube has resolved into this pot. I kept one pot, and inside the pot I kept one ice cube. It resolved. So the pot asti nava? Yes, because for the place for something to resolve, that locus must be there. That locus is called adhishthanam. So this is the logic. So the Brahma asti is Shruti Pramana, and then by our own understanding is that Karya Vilapanasya Astitva Nishthatvat, because for all the Karya to resolve, there must be a place or a place of receptacle of resolution, so to speak, as though. And then, he gives, this is the first argument. Second argument connected to this is that even if we look at all the Karya Prapancha in the Jagat, everything is a series of effects, and you trace it backwards. How do you trace it? Sukshmat, then you go to Sthula. Sukshma, 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 then Sthula. Sukshma, less Sukshma, less Sukshma, less Sukshma, then Sthula. Then Sukshma Taratamya Paramparyena Anugamyamanam, meaning that which is understood from either from Sthula to Sukshma. And how do we understand Sthula to Sukshma? We go Prithivi, Apaha, and then what? Agnihi, Vayuhu, Akasha. You see how from the grossest we have gone to the subtlest. So Sukshmat, Sukshmataram. So from Sukshma to Sukshma we can go, or we can go from one Sukshma to another Sukshma, doesn't matter, or we can go from Sukshma to Sthula. Many such prakriyas are there. So Sukshma Taratamya Paramparyena Anugamyamanam. So then at every level, what do you say? Prithivi asti nava asti. And then what is the less Sukshma than Prithivi? That which can be only cognized by four, what are they called? Indriyas. Four sense organs. What is that? Water. Apaha. Apaha asti nava asti. And then fire. Asti nava asti. And then what comes after fire? Vayu. Wind. Asti nava. Wind element is there. And then finally Akasha. Anybody who says there is no space is having problems, okay, mental problems. The one who says there is no space, you can say I have no space. Why? Because you are in my life. That you can say. You please go away, then I'll have lots of space. You can say that. That is a valid point and a different point. But you cannot say there is no space. The one who says that is totally spaced out. So therefore, how does space obtain in my awareness? Asti, as space is. Time is even less, objectifiable than space. But time, asti nava, is time there or not? Yes. That's why you are here, that you are not in your room, because why? 6:30 came. That's why you are here. Time awareness is, space awareness is. Elemental awareness obtains as what? Is. So no matter whether you go from sukshma to sthula, sthula to sukshma, sukshma to sukshma, any kind of prakriya that you use is all based on asti buddhi, not nasti buddhi. That is the second argument. And then the third argument is Vishaya pravilapanena pravilapyamana buddhi tadapi sa pratyaya garbha eva viliyate. So then we come to the most sukshma of all, which is what? Buddhi. So we have done, so the Prithvi has been resolved into water, water has been resolved into fire, etc., etc., etc. Akasha has been resolved into what? Atma. Like that we can go, or we can say that out of these elements have come the sense organs, out of the sukshma, samashti sukshma elements have come all these jnanendriyas, we can say. And then so the buddhi also does what? The buddhi also, which cognizes everything, is subject to resolution. The buddhi also gets resolved. When the 5 elements gets resolved, the things that have come out of the 5 elements also get resolved. And here we were saying, buddhi na vicheshtate. The buddhi is not active. Why? The buddhi itself is resolved in Brahman, but then at the time of the resolution of the buddhi is resolved as what? Asti buddhi or nasti buddhi? Asti. It is pregnant with astita. Very beautifully put. So it is garbhita, it is pregnant with astita. It is pregnant, it is full of asti. So where is the buddhi is being resolved? So can the non-existent be resolved? No. So an existent buddhi is only resolved, not a non-existent buddhi. And the buddhi which is pregnant with existence, the existence belongs to Brahman. Buddhi comes, buddhi goes. Mostly buddhi goes. We know that from Anubhava. Okay? Yeah. So this is the third argument. And then fourth argument is this, it is the negative argument. Supposing there was no Brahman, supposing moolam chet nasyat jagatah. So jagatah moolam yadi nasyat. If supposing the source of the universe were not there at all, so then what would happen? What would happen if the Moola was not there? If the Jagat did not have a place to resolve, if the Jagat had, if the Jagat was not, there was no truth of the Jagat came without there being an existent source, then what would happen? Then everything would be cognized as nasti, nasti, nasti. Starting with the source of the Jagat. Jagat source now is what? Nasti, for the sake of this argument. Brahma, nasti. Nasti Brahma, not asti Brahma. So nasti Brahma yadi chet, if Brahman was not existent, the fourth point, then nothing would be existent here. This is again a Shruti based argument. Because Brahman is the truth of everything. So name and form are upkept by what? Presence of what? Brahman. So then that's why we say vrikshaha asti, building asti, river asti. So you will not go to bathe in a non-existent river And for that matter, your body mind sense complex also would be non-existence, because the source of all existence being Brahman, if the Jagataha Moolam Nasti Yadi Chet, if the Brahman as the truth of the Jagat were not there, nothing would be there, and we would not be saying to each other, let us just go for a walk, because there is no legs, first of all. There is no buddhi to say, let us go for a walk. And there is no road there, because everything is what? Nasti, nasti, nasti. Why is Jagat nasti? Because Jagat is dependent on Brahman. If Brahman is nasti, Jagat is also nasti. Like the baby is contingent upon the existence of its parents. So if before the birth of the baby itself, the parents are not there, what kind of a baby can come out? No baby can come out. So this Jagat baby also nasti iti upalabhyeta. It would have become nasti. But that's not how the Jagat is, correct? How do we cognize as the Jagat as? Asti. Jagat is. The isness belongs to Brahman, that is a sophisticated argument, but Jagat asti, and everything in the Jagat asti, asti, asti iti upalabhyate. Body asti, mind asti, buddhi sometimes asti, and then memory asti, once in a while, memory asti, pratyabhigya, memory asti. And all the things obtained in this world as existent, not as non-existent. Otherwise there would be no vyapara, there would be no transactions, would be no transactability, nothing would exist. And so therefore what? Tasmat Jagataha Moolam Asti iti eva upalabdhavyam. So the fourth argument clinches it, because everything is asti asti, and so we should use the logic. If everything is asti asti, Jagataha source api asti, the source of the Jagat also is what? Asti. So then further, kasmat asti iti bruvataha astitvavadinah agama artha anusarinah shraddhadhanat anyatra. Yeah, let's stop here, because so how to understand this? Kasmat upalabdhavyam, that is what is being asked. How to understand that the Jagat has a source, and Jagat asti because source asti. How to understand? Then the person who has this astikya buddhi, asti iti bruvataha, that is from the mantra. So who is that? Astitvavadinah, for the person who is astitvavadin, the one who is not ashamed to say that there is something that I don't understand. If everything locally in the world has a cause, the Jagat also must have a cause. Everything in the Jagat has a cause, and that cause turns into what? Effect. And then that becomes also effect, that cause becomes effect, that cause becomes effect. Hello, will the real cause please stand up? This is jigyasa. Where is the causeless cause? Where is the cause that doesn't have a grandfather cause? Where is that cause? That is the jigyasa, that is what brings us to this knowledge. So that person who has shraddhadhanasya, astitvavadinah, that is the person who is blessed with this knowledge, even though they are not saying Brahma Asmi. What are they saying? Brahma Asti. They are not saying Brahma Asmi. I am Brahman, they are not saying. What are they saying? There is Brahman. That itself is enough. You see, the qualifications towards the end of the Upanishad become less and less and less, because the Shruti is desperate. Let at least something go in before the Upanishad finishes. Never mind Shama, how do you spell that? Never mind Dama, never mind Uparatihi, never mind Titiksha, what is that? Shraddha, Samadhanam, Viveka is not there, because why? I have given Vairagya to Viveka. Okay, so therefore Viveka is not there. Vairagya has gone along with Viveka, and then so therefore what? Therefore, at least Shruti is begging. Shruti, all that Shruti has to do is fall at the feet of the student. She's begging here. She's desperate because in 5 more verses the Upanishad is going to finish. So before that she wants to at least drill a hole in the head and then put something there. Despite you, in spite of you, not because of you. So she begs you. She says, forget Shama, Dhamma, everything. Just say Brahma Asti. Can you do that? Yeah. Say it. Now she's very happy. Yeah. All that she wants is to say, acknowledge that if everything in the Jagat has a source, a local source, there must be some source which doesn't itself have a source. There must be an existence which is the source of all existence, and that is what you hold on to, and that holding buddhi is called Shraddha. This is all that the Shruti wants. Forget all the other qualifications you have studied. If you haven't forgotten already, you have my permission to totally forget it. Okay? Right now, what do you have to say? Abba. Very nice. Shruti is very happy. No, you're making it up. Why? How will you know Shruti is happy? You just wait till the next verse. You will see how happy the Shruti becomes. So the person should be Shraddhadhana. So tasya, and who is this? The person who has Shraddha, Agama, Artha, Anusarin. Anusarin, follower. Follower of what? The one who follows the teaching of Agama. The one whose thinking has now become in keeping with the Shastra. The thinking has to be in keeping with the Shastra. I think this way and the Shastra thinks this way means what? Nothing will happen. Why can't I think? I have the freedom to think. Think. No, then I'd like to think that the Jagat has come out of nothing. Yeah, then think. You have the freedom. But then don't expect the Shruti to be happy and to bless you with this knowledge, because you're not thinking in keeping with what the Shruti wants to unfold. At least in the beginning, Brahma Asti must be there. That Shraddha must be there. This is what it points out here. So then, Jagataha Shraddhadanat Anyatra. So other than this person who has Shraddha, who is Agama Artha Anusarin, who is Asti iti Bruvataha, Astitvavadin. So other than such a person, all these are not 3 different people. They are qualifications for one person who is ready to plunge. What is the plunge? Brahma Asti. Okay, I give up all the cudgels, I give up all the other arguments. What I will say? Brahman is. That's all I will understand. For that person, other than that person, nobody will get this knowledge. If you don't have even that much of a qualification, that much Shraddha to say Brahma Asti. Therefore what? Shraddhavan labhate Jnanam. That's why Shraddha is highlighted. All the other qualifications, they will say bye-bye, you can say bye-bye. But other than the one who has Shraddha, that person will not know. And who is the other one? Is also described by the Shruti. Nastikavadini. Nasti jagataha moolam. Atma. Niranvayam. Eva. Idam karyam. Abhavantam. Praviliyate iti. Manyamane. Viparita darshini. Yeah. So, the opposite of this person, who is the person that the Shruti wants you to be? Asti, Brahma Asti, sayer. Asti sayer, not Nasti, not the naysayer, the ye sayer, not the naysayer. So, the one who says Brahma Asti, who is following the teachings of the Shastra, who is replete with Shraddha, that is the person who gains this knowledge, not the other one. Who is the other one? Nastikavadin. So, in the Nastikavadin, in the person who says nothing is there, the truth of the Jagat is nothing, I am nothing, everything is nothing, they are confused. Because you see, they also want to do the same thing. They want to, from their own prakriya, understand that the name and form, they want to empty the name and form. Okay, you can spend your whole life emptying the name and form, but that which is left after emptying the name and form, you have to understand who is the one who is emptying all the names and forms. And then what is the basis upon which the name and form stand? The name and form cannot be floating in the universe. So mithya, you see, if there is no satyam, mithya becomes satyam. This is a big danger in Buddhism. In certain, maybe not Zen, Zen is very close to Vedanta, but other than Zen, this is, it's a travesty, the Shunyavada, etc., etc. Pujya Swamiji went and spoke at a Shunyavada university in Bangkok. There is one Shunya University. And then the translators were there, and Swamiji was about to begin his speech. And then he was asked by the translator, can we please have a topic? And that time Swamiji was not well at all. In fact, the next day he was to go on and have a terrible heart attack. So it was, you can imagine, one day before the heart attack, how he would have been. His legs were swollen. I was very anxious. I was not, paying attention to anything except him. I had all kinds of medicines ready to give at any time, and I was with him. And so then he ascended the stage, sat down with great difficulty, and then somebody, the translator, came and whispered in his ear, Swamiji, please tell your topic. And Swamiji, noting what this university was and everything, he said, I will be talking about nothing. And everybody was happy. Even before his talk, he got a clap. He got a ovation, really. And this is what the magic of the Vedanta is. The magic of a Vedanta knowing person is that everybody goes away happy. Even the person who is in dire disagreement. Because what is the Vedantin? Astitvavadin. What is the Shunyavadin? Nastitvavadin. And he didn't mince words. He was not trying to people please. Nothing. He just said, if that were the names, and where are you going to empty the names and forms? What is that is left after emptying the names and forms? If you say nothing is left, I will say, who is the one that is saying nothing is left? Who is the one that is saying? Me. Are you existent or not? No, I am non-existent. I am sorry, I have to disagree with you here. The non-existent cannot recognize the non-existent. Can you? If you were non-existent, can you recognize non-existence? Absolutely not. How is that even possible? What a ridiculous conjecture. And then he confused all of them. And they were just like, how in the comics you are hit on the head with a saucepan in one frame, and in the other frame, there is some birds, cheep going around, birds and bells. So they were kind of stunned. And then they just forgot what they were supposed to do, because after the talk, they were supposed to give him a shawl and bouquet and all that. They were just very confused. The bouquet is right there. And then they were looking everywhere. What to do? They were thoroughly confused. And so then I had to point it out. Do you want to give this? Yes, we want to give this. And then again they are looking. And then somebody else had to point out the shawl is right there. And then I think they were relieved to see us leave. Okay. But nonetheless, it is the truth. The truth always wins. Satyameva jayate. Maybe it won't initially win because there is lot of adharma and so many wrong notions are there, but the truth always wins. Always wins. And so therefore, this is something we have to absolutely understand. And here the person who is who is Nastikavadin, in that person who says what? Jagataha Moolam, the truth of the self, which is I, Atma, Niranvayam. There is nothing there as the final resort. That Atma itself is non-existence. and that Atma itself is not there, and everything resolves into nothing, iti manyamane. And in this kind of person who is thinking like this, who is that person? Viparita darshan. Viparita darshan means opposite believer. So the Shraddha is in Nastikata, in Nasti Brahma, not in Asti Brahma, the opposite of what we are talking about. Then what happens then? Katham tad Brahma tatvatah upalabhyate na kathanchana upalabhyate ityarthah. Yeah, under no circumstances it cannot be understood. In any manner it cannot be understood. If you don't bring to the Shastra, you cannot understand this at all. You can just kiss goodbye to this knowledge if you don't have Shraddha. Then, introducing the next verse, we can see Adi Shankara is fed up. He starts using Sanskrit 4-letter words. Let us see. Okay? Tasmat apohya asadvadi paksham asuram. So, asuram is what? Tadhita tasya idam. So, asurasya idam asuram. That which belongs to the asura. Asura means what? Rakshasa. That didn't help. Rakshasa means what? Don't say asura now, okay? Yeah, give me the meaning. What is Rakshasa, asura? Demonic. Yes. Like a demonic, what is that? Demonic paksha, argument. Paksha here means argument. Purva paksha. A purva paksha that is demonic in nature. Why? Because it is going completely opposite to logic, opposite to Shruti, opposite to just this yearning, that uncultivated yearning to be one with everything. Everything you have to negate in order to negate Brahman. You have to even negate yourself. How is that possible? So this leads to only Asuri Vritti. And we go straight to the 16th chapter of the Bhagavad Gita, which talks about Asuri Sampat. Asuri Sampat means treasures of the Rakshasa. Rakshasa also has treasures, yes. Things they treasure. We don't treasure the qualities which the Asura treasures. Meaning what? Does not, even in the face of the proper argument, does not understand. Even if they are hit on the head with Vedanta, they don't understand. Stubborn, wrong thinking, stubborn. And also third way, Asura Paksha here is because they have the capacity to be charismatic leaders and mislead. All that is there. Otherwise, simple roadside riffraff thinking Brahman is not there is not going to harm anyone but himself or herself. Some roadside fellow who says there is no Brahman, you meet him on the walk and he says there is no Brahman, then not much is lost, because nobody listens to that fellow anyway. But when does some paksha becomes asura? Because it has the power of influence. Asuras are asuras because they have a power of influence. A wrong power which is wrongly unleashed in the world, and then with that, with charisma, and then misleading people, and they have kind of the power of almost like a mass hypnosis. Everybody goes thinking like that only. Brahman asti, Brahman asti, Brahman asti, and there is no such thing. Ishvaraha nasti. All this because of their own authority issues. And so therefore, this asura paksha, Vyapohanam has to be done. So then we have to break open this paksha, and then again Adi Shankara, annoyed as he is, let Shruti becomes the Siddhanta. Let Shruti answer. I need not answer. So this what is that? This wrong paksha, this paksha of everything is not there, this kind of a nihilistic view of nihilism, which is what? That nothing is there, this has to be removed. And how does the Shruti remove it? Let us see. अस्तीत्येव उपलब्धव्यः तत्त्वभावेन चोभयोः अस्तीत्येव उपलब्धस्य तत्त्वभावः प्रसीदति. Yeah. Prasidati means becomes pleased. Tattva bhavaha means Shruti, the truth of this knowledge. See, I told you, Shruti gets pleased. Yeah, there it says. Okay. So, astiti eva upalabdhavyaha. So, therefore, what? This Brahma Grahanam has to be done from the standpoint of asti alone, not nasti. Why? So that you don't become an asura. That's why you don't join the ranks of demons and the like. You want to be demonic, go ahead. But to anybody you ask, do you want to be demonic? Even the demon will say no. Demon also will say, I don't know how I came here, I don't want this. And so, asti iti upalabdhavyam. This has to be grasped as in the initial stage as existent. What? Atma, yourself. You have to be understanding yourself as existent alone. And then tattva bhavena, it has to be grasped as existent, and tattva bhava means it has to be grasped as its essence. Tattva, essence here. Tat, tat and tattva. So, tad bhava, tattva bhava. So the as it is, it has to be understood. It has to be understood as existing, and the I, the Atma, Brahman, has to be understood first as existing, which is what in Sanskrit Brahma asti, and then it has to be understood as existing as me, Brahma asmi. This is Ubhaya Bhava. This is the two kinds of quote unquote existence. There is only one existence, don't worry. Two standpoints from which this existence must be known. Upalabdhavyaha. So this has to be understood. First, Brahman has to be understood as asti. This is from what standpoint? Jagat standpoint. From one's own body, mind, sense complex standpoint. Asti, asti, asti. Tree asti, building asti, river asti, mountain asti. Rudra asti, Gayatri asti. Yeah. Zorba asti. So, asti, asti, asti. First you see every item in the Jagat as what? Asti, asti, asti. That is one way Brahman has to be known. And then with exposure, bathing in this knowledge, bathing in this river of the knowledge, then what does that asti convert into? Asmi. You have to allow that conversion to take place. You have to allow that conversion to take place. Asti then becomes what? Asmi. What asmi? Brahma asmi. That is what is called tattva bhava. So then first is sagunataya Brahma is appreciated. Brahma is appreciated along with forms at first. Form asti nava. Yes, form asti, name asti, and then the truth of the name and form is also what? Asti. This is a kind of a leap of anumana. We don't know this yet. But we know book asti, table asti, pot asti, flower asti, computer asti, everything we know. Fan asti, light asti, room asti. Asti, asti. This body also what? Asti. This much we know. And then we say that this asti, asti, asti is what kind of asti? Asti with name, asti with form. Correct? Say yes. Show me at least one sign of life. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Asti with name, asti with form. This is how Brahman is appreciated at first. That is why when we go to the temple, how do we see Bhagavan? With name, with form. Oh, Shiva looking nice today. Good job, Pandit, dressing him up like this. Very nice. Hanumanji, come on, very nice. Where are my vadas? Haven't had them for a long time. Adi Shankaracharya looking so nice. Like this, we go around the temple and then we say, Asti, Bhagavan in this form, Asti, Bhagavan in that form, Asti. And then even my arch enemy, my nemesis, Asti. The people I like, Asti. People I don't care to be around, also what? Alas, Asti. You add an alas. Ha hanta, Asti. you add a few, what should I say? You add a few exclamations and then you say, Asti. So the first way in which the appreciation of the astita of Brahman is appreciated, is understood, is the Jagat along with all the names and forms. Jagat asti, nama rupani, all the nama rupas what? Asti. Nama rupas asti, and then what else asti? Each and everything asti, 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 asti. Therefore, the source of all of that thing, all the things, also what? Asti. This is the first stage of understanding. This itself is a lot. Even to get to this stage, we have to give up a lot of all kinds of notions. Maybe asti, maybe not asti. And then one place I went, another interfaith meeting. And there the person sitting right next to me said, we are what? We are existent and non-existent. How? She didn't explain. But then the whole talk was about how non-existent we are and existent we are. See, in sleep, she gave one explanation, all wrong. In sleep we are what? Non-existent. Is the Jagat there in sleep? Somebody said no. See, she was encouraged. The speaker was encouraged. See, in sleep we are non-existent. And from non-existent, what do we come? To existent. Then somebody had to tap her on the shoulder and ask, then how do you know the sleep condition? If you are non-existent in sleep, you should wake up and wonder who you are. You should not even know your own name. There was one movie where that lady had one disease. The heroine in the movie had one disease. That every morning she woke up, she did not know anything. So somebody had to tell her, your name is so and so. Because if the husband came into the room, she would say, she would call the police. Who is this fellow? Intruder has come. This is how the movie was. So we would be like this. If there is no continuity of the astita, then you can't be just existent and non-existent at the same time. That is not possible. When the certain things are just not possible, logically also, you get a headache trying to think of it. How can you be existent and non-existent at the same time? Because both are what? Viparita dharma. Both of them are completely opposite. You cannot be existent and non-existent at the same time. Light and shade cannot exist in the same place at the same time. Light and darkness cannot exist. Certain things are not possible at all. And so here the person has understood this is asti, 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 and the source of all of these also what must be asti. And for that person, so first asti iti eva upalabdhavyaha tattvabhavena ubhayoho. What is this ubhayoho? Ubhayoho is to ascertain the nature of Brahman, of these two standpoints. What is the first standpoint? Jagat asti, therefore Brahma asti. Okay? And then what is the second standpoint? That asti is free or must be free of all names and forms, because in order to populate all names and forms, it must be without any particular name, any particular form. So from saguna, where are we going? Nirguna. That is tattvataha understanding. Two standpoints. You cannot say, I only want Brahman without the Jagat. You cannot do that. Absolutely you cannot do that. But, so what is there to know? You have to know that in and through these forms, everything is Ishvara, everything is Brahman. And that's why this is the only culture that says everything in the universe is sacred. No other culture says that. No other religion also will say that. In many other religions, one has dominion, one has power over all the other objects created, and then all these objects and even including animals, they don't have soul. Only human jiva has soul, and all the other things are fair game for consumption. Here we don't say that. Everything is sacred. Everything is sacred and holy because you are holy. And you are that Nirgunam Brahma in the form of consciousness, pure awareness, free of name and form, which populates this entire Jagat, which informs this entire Jagat of names and forms. And this is the place where the Jagat finally releases all names and forms, that receptacle which is free of all names and forms, which for the time being we say Satyam Jnanam Anantam Sat Chit Ananda, that I have to know. As what? Myself. As not the neighbor. Neighbor is Brahman, I don't know, I'm not sure of myself. No. That you have to internalize, you have to assimilate, you have to know. It is possible. It is definitely possible. It is definitely needed. This is the only thing that is needed in life. All other things are just small little side dishes. This is the main dish. This is the main dish in the buffet. What do we do otherwise? We say, I don't want the main dish. I just want to eat around. I want to have the appetizers, and from the appetizers I will go to the dessert. And nobody wants the main dish. Because every day you feel you are having the main dish, it is boring. But this is really the main dish. This is what fills the lifetime after lifetime after lifetime after lifetime after lifetime hunger. The yearning to be one with everything. This is what fills, this is the knowledge. The second understanding makes one a fulfilled person, where the wants all, as the next mantra is going to say, all the wants just flow away from you. Why? Because the wanting person has attained moksha. There is no wanting person because there is nothing to want. Why? Because everything is you. One thing to say everything is mine, there is still that duality, me and then mine. But it's not even mine, it's gone beyond that. Everything is me. That's why Brahma, us, me. This is all me, me, me. And this is the Mahavakya again. And so first, Brahman is known as Asti. And then Tattva Bhavena Ubhayoho. So Tattva Bhava means Brahma Asmi. So out of these two, Sagunam Brahma you can talk about, technical language, or Nirgunam Brahma. Out of these two, don't go straight for Nirgunam Brahma. What will you get? Migraine. Yeah, you will get migraine. And you will be the most confused person in the world. Okay? And then if you start teaching, Swayam confused, Anyan confusayati. Yes, that's what you will do. Yes. Confusayati, causal. Okay? Yeah. So, makes other people also confused. You will be confused because you will just get a headache. Oh, I don't want Saguna, I don't want to deal with people, I don't want to deal with things, I don't want to deal even with myself. I'll go straight for Nirguna. Wrong. If Saguna is not understood as Asti, then how will Nirguna be understood? As yourself. So the doorway, the portal for Nirguna is through what? Saguna. The doorway of Saguna only leads you to Nirguna. And that's where all the issues, that pravilapanam of psychological issues have to take place. From Saguna to Nirguna to go. Because in this place, in this whole Sagunam Brahma, manifest as the Jagat, it affords possibility for growth and the resolution of psychological issues. Authority issue, I am not good enough issue, opposite notion issue, I am the best Purva Pakshi issue, all this, where else will you resolve except right here, right now? Because you can't carry these issues to the next level. The next level of understanding is that this Ishvara that I am afraid of, this Brahman in the form of Ishvara that I am afraid of, because I jump at any name and form that I am confronted with, I jump. And so this fearful, tearful one who cannot even confront the universe, how will they confront themselves as Ishvara? Not possible. So therefore here itself all that has to go, and therefore engaging with Sagunam Brahma becomes the first level of sadhana. And understanding this Sagunam Brahma becomes the first level of knowledge. That everything is Brahman, everything is Ishvara. You Ishvarize the universe at first, and then only you can Ishvarize yourself. That is the thing. When you Ishvarize the universe, the cudgels drop. There is no more resistance. There is nothing to fight with, because Shraddha is there. And then after that what happens? Then after that you peel Ishvara. Like a banana. You peel Ishvara, and then what goes? Then Jagat Karanatvam, the cause of the universe, you peel away. And then you peel away what else? You peel away Karta, Dharta, Samharta, the resolver of the universe, sustainer of the universe, the one endowed with Maya Shakti. You peel away. You peel away all that which is not Ishvara, like the potato harvest, which is, not Brahman, meaning these are all attributes. All the Sagunatvam you peel away from that source, which is Ishvara. And then you peel away your own Sagunatvam here, that I am this body, I am this mind, that I am intrinsically connected to this body, mind, sense complex. All that you peel away. What is left? Satchidananda, Nirguna. That is what is left. Nothing else can be left. So then asti iti eva upalabdhasya. So asti ityeva upalabdhasya, for the one who knows Brahma asti. Forget Brahma asmi. Forget this complicated journey from Saguna to Nirguna. It's not complicated, but it looks like that at first. For them what happens? Tattva bhavaha, Satchidananda gets pleased. How can prasidati means gets happy? How can Satchidananda be happy? You see what you have done, okay? You even have forced Satchidananda to shed tears, okay? Satchidananda, which has no qualifications, no eyes, no tears, no sadness, it is all Ananda. Seeing the state of the Jiva as it were, even that has shed a few tears. Ayyo, when is this person going to know? They are understanding Brahma Asti. Satchidananda itself jumps for joy. Shruti, which is the wielder of Satchidananda, jumps for joy. And the teacher, which is the wielder of Shruti, is already up in the sky. Om Purnamadav Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vashishyate Shanti 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 Harihi Om Shri Gurubhyo